So this is one of the characters I haven't gotten yet. Two Winnifred. Eternity. I heard she's pretty good in the beginning, but I'm not sure what kind of combat system she has. An old dream left. I often think of that place, with the lake water seeping through the cabins and the desk lamp calmly scrolling amidst cobwebs and beams. My name is Brian Flynn. A less than accomplished film director. With the meager talents given to me by God, I made films that defy classification as either good or bad. Yet, I never managed to create a film I can truly call my own. Now, even the generosity of the divine has reached its end. Like, this room looks familiar. His rough hands tremble as it gropes around. It runs over the table's edge, brushes past a half-open medicine box, knocks over an uncapped pen, and never reaches its intended destination.
Please?
Dad, stop looking through all those old film reels. Dr. Davis said you should be resting in bed. Besides, your work's already won over all those investors, and they're sharper than Wall Street's finest. What regrets could you possibly have left? Her brother speaks up, his pride in his father's achievement ringing in his voice.
Yes.
Yes, Dad. The critics had nothing but praise for your movies, especially New England's Dream. The old hands lingers in the air. No, my dear boy. The New England's Dream is the biggest regret of my life. 40 years squandered on that thing, and I still never truly completed it. The editing alone took up years of my life. But no matter how many changes I made, I couldn't fill that emptiness. That failure has haunted me for decades, to this very day, in fact. At this point, I have no choice but to confess that I failed to capture the essence of a true vampire. Not even a shiver of that exclusive inspiration. The old man becomes agitated, sparkling a coughing fit. Compared to the vampire I saw, it lacks something vital, some essence element. But what could that be, Dad? I don't know. A hushed silence falls in the bedroom. Even the sound of Brian's hurried breaths is fading. They are becoming slow and intermediate, and if they might cease at any moment. A profound regret weighs heavily upon each breath. Son, will you get me my notebook from my desk?
Yes.
Yes, and turn it to the latest page. Yes, Dad, I'll get it right away. The boy hastens out the door, while the girl looks at her father with a melancholy gaze, her face etched with concern. But your eyes! Don't worry about me, Ilya. His eyes have long lost their vitality. They're embedded in deep, wrinkled sockets. It's been my faithful companion for many years. Even with these failing eyes of mine, I can still read the thing through touch alone. Dad, here it is. Robin carefully placed the notebook in his father's hands. And yes, this is far more useful than the concoction of pills, don't you agree, old friend? With some effort, he steadies his frail frame. I need you to document everything faithfully, at least for now anyway. We have one last journey to make, the final stretch. Now, where should I begin? This tale begins in New England, I believe. Back then, I was young, timid, and filled with fear of the unknown. A cabin, nestled between dense wood and a lake. A common sight in any horror film. Moss climbs the windowsill and eaves of the cabin's exterior, as if silently repelling any visitors. Sally, it does nothing to repel young, reckless children. You reckon there's really a witch here brewing potions for baby hair? What kind of baloney are you talking about now? I heard there's a vampire hanging around in these woods, you know? The kind that has fangs with hollow tips, so it can pierce your skin on the neck and suck your blood. He places his hand on the quivering shoulders beside him.
Hey!
Good grief, will you look at our little Brian? If he shivered any faster, he could be a hand crank operator at my uncle's generator shop, factory. I bet he already got a fresh diaper at the ready. Cut it out, guys. We should head back. I really don't want to fall behind Mrs. Madison's homework. Jared pats him on the shoulder and pushes him forward. Don't worry, little Brian. Legend has it that the fire feeds on blood from strapping young men, not strong little monkeys. Then Brian will be the safest among us. The pressure on Brian's shoulder intensifies. That legend, probably a bunch of hoonies, right? Of course it is. Yeah. So what are you so afraid of, little Brian? A breeze blows past the door, causing it to creak creepily. Off you go, good sir. Take a gander deep inside for us and say, "How do you do, Mr. Vampire?" The shove from behind sends Brian staggering forward. He falls into an even more sinister looking room, hitting his head on the corner of the table.
Whoa!
Oh, look what you have done, you klutz. You scared off all the critters. Ouch, my head. Bye-bye, little Brian. We'll be waiting for your trunkless return to town. The door slams shut.
Hey!
Don't leave me here. You can't do this to me. I don't want to be eaten by a vampire. His head spins as his conscience slips away into darkness. A loud, rumbling sound approaches from afar. That noise! It feels like my head's about to explode. Good lord, is that an earthquake? Below, a subtle blue seeps into the room. From under the bed, through the cracks in the wooden floor.
You are...
Am I hallucinating? Or is there really a vampire living here? Blue ripples wash over the wall. The desk, the lamp, and the wooden chairs are all tinged with a blue hue. They pick themselves up and start moving. They dance in endless blue, eventually surrounding the young boy. It is as they have been brought to life.
Oh.
You don't look too well, my uninvited friend. Need a hand? You?
May I ask?
Are you a vampire? The angel-faced woman seems inclined to answer. Clearly you're in desperate need of a good rest. The blue has reached his temple, blanketing everything in sight. He gives in, sinking into slumber and returning to tranquility. I never forgot what I saw that day. I firmly believe in that cramped little cabin. I saw a true vampire. She was so beautiful, so captivating, and brimming with a passion for life. That was our first encounter. After that, I fantasized countless times about meeting her again. Until... Wait, so Eternity, is she really a vampire? I didn't I didn't know her story. Savior out of the blue. So I think when I first started the game, I wanted to get this was one of the characters I wanted to get first, but didn't get any luck, and haven't gotten any luck lately for to get her. She sees the potential embarrassment and savage heart that couldn't let go. The war came, forcing all of us to put aside childish things and grow up, myself included. It was a cruel and sudden mass farewell. It forced every one of us to say goodbye to our dreams, to the past, and to the world we knew. Before I knew it, I was conscripted and boarded in an army jeep, venturing into the foreign lands. The atmosphere rised amidst the clinking glass, as if everyone should toast to the victory at hand. While they still can. Cheers, gents! He drains his glass into one gulp. To a brighter tomorrow. Sergeant Flynn, why the hell are you still clutching that little book of yours? You ain't ready to switch nothing to a damn dame back home, are ya? Come on, there's nothing wrong with that. And I can tell you now, Pete, when you get back home, you'll be spinning tales even taller than Brian here. Go ahead and write whatever you want, Brian. And don't forget to mention the part where I led the charge. He slaps Brian's shoulder heartily. Brian clutches his notebook. This isn't a letter. It's my research.
Oh.
Oh, now that's something you don't hear every day. Let me have a look. He strides forward, snatching the notebook from Brian's hands.
Hey!
Hey, that's just a few rough ideas. It's not finished yet. The other man doesn't seem to care.
Mm-hmm.
And compile of data on a mysterious vampire. You ain't got a torch for our Miss Julia, have you? I'll admit, she's got a gentle touch when she's bandaging us up, and the way she draws blood is very light. I almost fell asleep the last time she did it. Tough luck, Brian. You got more rivals here than a dog has fleas. But I'm sure comparing Miss Julie to a vampire would earn you a sock up the jaw from some of the trainer shooters in the squad. They look at Brian with pity, as if mounting his long-lost cause. This isn't for Julia. Brian shakes his head firmly, a serious expression on his face. Being called a vampire isn't hardly insulting. They're symbols of beauty, purity, and everlasting life. You say that, but have you ever laid eyes on a real vampire? They're just made up stories, I believe, when I was a kid.
Of course.
But I grant you that they're pretty handy for spooking the little rascals. I've seen a real vampire. They fall into a brief silence. Then a burst of rentuous laughter. Obnoxious. I gotta hand it to you, Sergeant Flynn. Your sense of humor is something else. You got a real knack for storytelling.
It's true.
I'm being serious. When I was a kid, I saw her. Ever since then, I've been on the hunt for more information about her, even just the slightest sliver. She was perfect, everything I could ever imagine. Just like... What are you looking at? Brian, you don't think there's a vampire lurking somewhere at this shindig, do ya? Brian scans the room, eagerly seeking to validate his claim. The club is bustling with people. The heavy conversation and crisscrossing light makes his head spin. As Brian's eye sweeps the room, he abruptly comes to a halt. Does he It's her! What a delight it is to see you here again, Mrs. Katz.
Dear.
Kate. Isn't it just... It's been ages since we last saw each other.
Oh.
Oh. How envy you, Winnifred. You haven't aged a bit. Time does have exclusive magic, doesn't it? Brian's hands begin to tremble. He rubs his eyes in disbelief. He tries to speak, but a lump in his throat says otherwise. Then he croaks out, "It's her!" Before he realizes what he's been doing, he's striving towards her.
Hey!
Hey Brian, what's the big idea? He tugs at Brian's sleeve, his voice lowered. Have you lost it, man? I know she's a looker, even more than Miss Julia, but that lady's way out of your leagues. I spied her over in the commander's office. Even the top brass tips their hats to her. I heard she's a special guest for a ammunition supplier. Even got ties to the underground here. Apparently, you better kiss that pipe dream goodbye. He grabs the air where the cuffs of Brian's shirt could be, but he's already gone.
Hmm?
Brian is now standing in front of her, the notebook in his hand trembling violently.
Hi.
Hello, ma'am.
Huh.
Hello, sir. That was quite the entrance. She smiles gently, seemingly used to such disturbance.
I'm sorry.
Oh, please accept my apologies, ma'am. I didn't mean to offend you. It's just... You look just like someone I met a long time ago. Not exactly the slickest line I ever heard. Sir, if you hope to make new acquaintances, I sincerely suggest you choose a less cliche opener next time. I'm gathering information on vampires. That's why I had to talk to you. The lady before him chuckles ambiguously. You catch on quick. But do I really look like a vampire? Perhaps it's because of my striking white hair. It is saddening when those noble ladies pester me to reveal the secret behind maintaining such a style.
No.
No, you misunderstand. I believe that vampires are a special race possessing advantages ordinary people don't. For instance, using human blood as nourishment allows them to gain stronger physiques and, more importantly, maintain their vitality and appearance for much longer. They, the embodiment of beauty and the favorite child of God. That's quite an imaginative theory. But it doesn't quite align with medicine science, does it? She downs her drink in one swig. The creatures that most closely resemble your descriptions are bats. They feed on human blood and are active at night, but they don't gain long lives or beautiful faces in doing so. On the contrary, they are filthy and gin-ridden, making them one of the animals we despise most. Even in the realm of arcane biology, no such individual exists. If there is, in fact, a race capable of eternal life, they will be marred by ugliness and prone to disease. I, on the other hand, have heard some of these substantial tales. The Rusaki by the water's edge. They have long flowing hair, snatched up tailors, and plundered ships to maintain their appearance. Of course, rather than indulging in hearsay, you can always venture north and see them for yourselves. But I swear, I've seen you before.
Oops.
Hush. If you don't want to be seen as an agent of the underworld, or a spy dispatched by the arms dealers, stop attracting so much attention. Who are you trying to time out? There you go. Those people are all ruthless extremists. They don't want they don't want anyone more than necessary to be mixed up in emerging intelligence. It'll be better for the both of us. Thank you. Brian looks around. His companions are still waving at him from afar.
But
Nevertheless, I still believe that vampires exist. I won't give up. Alright, take care of Billy. He nods and makes to leave. Wait, young man. It's a exquisite crafted business card with both deep and shallow patterns reflected on it. It feels almost watery to the touch. Take it. Winnifred, ma'am, my name's Brian. Very good, Mr. Brian.
Fascinating.
Maybe one day we'll do business together. Right. Brian, momentary stun. Wait, Brian, momentary stun. Realized that she has already vanished without a trace. He places the business card into his breast pocket, carefully smoothing out the creases. But, did I really remember it all wrong? Movie boom! We experience movies, dreams, and the constant movement of time. Everything that happened that night vanished almost as abruptly as it appeared. Except for the card that remains pressed against my chest. Due to the numbers of events, I never did go looking for that woman named Winnifred. Of course, I continued to collect everything I could about vampires, despite the rest of the world seeing this as a total waste of time. Eventually, even the rippling of my comments quieted down. Some died on the battlefield, while others went missing, never to be heard from again. It seems as though everything around me was silently saying that our previous encounter was nothing more than a ephemeral shadow, something not even worth remembering. The war rages on, shoving one young life from another into the fray. They rush into the battlefield and never once looked back.
of course.
And of course, that includes yours truly. It wasn't long before I, too, felt the effects of war. During an offensive on an empty outpost, I caught a stray bullet to the chest. I was rushed to the field hospital, but to the doctor's surprise, the wound wasn't serious. Other than some scrapes and the usual chronic joint aches from too much marching, I was fine.
But
It was the card nestled against my chest. It stopped the bullet. When the bullet struck, there was a warm sensation in my chest and a kind of soothing vibration. I spent a long time after that racking my brain, but I could never remember on that night when the mysterious Winnifred handed that card to me. Had it been as solid and luxurious? Wait, has it been as solid and luxurious and with such a deep blue sea sheen as it was the day when I was shot? For a moment, the steady ticking of the clock on the wall is the only sound in the room.
Oh.
You never told us any of this before.
yes.
Right, these doors are amazing. A card that protected you from in the heat of the battle. Boy, how I wish I could have seen it. The boy's face is alright with wonder. Wait. I'm sorry, my boy. You probably never get to see it. I lost it somewhere. Wait, I lost it sometime later during my work.
Oh.
Oh, was it when you were a director? The old man's eyes closed, as if sifting through decades of trivial memories. I don't think so. Back then, I was busy trying to make ends meet. I carried my notebook everywhere, hoping to find a job.
Mm-hmm.
But later on, you made it, didn't you? Robin cocks his head up, full of pride in his father. That too was fate, my boy. In the face of the divine, all we can do is accept God's plan. Ever since I survived on the battlefield, I never doubted the mission of God had bestowed upon me. He inspired me to continue my search for vampires until the end of my life. As he speaks, a rare flush color, the old man's face, reminiscence of his once reckless and stubborn self. Don't you think you should rest for a bit? Brian shakes his head. Time stops for no one, my dear, and right now, it's not on my side. He turns to the next page in his notebook. When the war ended, I was discharged. It was then that I enrolled in the University of Southern California to study film. I had hoped to create a film, one that belongs to a vampire and to me.
Hey!
Now listen, Brian. Tomorrow's your big shot. Your first solo shoot. Don't screw it up. Capiche? Huh? These high factual dames want their own silver screen moment. They're out of our league, man. They don't give a damn about your vampire flick fantasy, and they sure as hell ain't planning to play a part in your picture. Don't you savvy? Yes, Mr. Danny. If the brass gets wind of any more beef where you concerned, you'll be out of the streets and you can take your kakamami dreams with ya. Brian quietly tucks his notebook into his pocket. Buckle down, cause tomorrow's client is loaded. Wait, buckle down, cause tomorrow's client is loaded. The film industry is in its pits right now, and scratching up a job ain't a walk in the park. Without the dough from this job, you never get your dreams off the ground. He gives Brian a simple loud clap on the shoulder. Mr. Brian. Mr. Brian.
Mm-hmm.
The lady of the house is ready for you. She's waiting in the drawing room. Ah, thank you. I'll be right there. He shakes his head, hastily putting away his notebook. He takes a deep breath and hurries to the drawing room. Ma'am, are you in there? I'm Brian from Divine Union Pictures. I'm here to shoot your film.
Huh.
Enter. She meets again. It seems that this was just another one of God's little jokes. When I least expected it, the gears of fate locks in place once again, and as they turn, the noise nearly deafens me. Nice to meet you, new guy. Nice to meet you.
Huh.
Mr. Dennington. Mr. Dennington come with you. What a shame. I thought we worked quite well together. Brian opens his mouth, but finds himself speechless. The figure behind is both alien and familiar, like a beautiful bubble one cannot bear to burst. Oh well, I trust your company. And you won't let me down, will you?
Of course.
Of course not, Miss Winnifred. Haha, it's a pleasure to work with you. She extends her hand. You look as young as ever. Have we met before? Instead of waiting for an answer, she gives a nonchalant chuckle that turns into a gentle yawn. I get that a lot, usually from discerning customers angling for a bargain on whatever treasure they have their eyes on. But a little flattery can't easily sway those of us seasoned by time. I'll accept that compliment, however. Just know that you have to do much more than that if you're looking to get a bonus from me, young man. You need to show a little more heart.
Huh.
Huh. If you send me a footage a week early, or maybe extend its duration to... She earnestly haggles to herself. Do you really not remember me? Back at the officers club?
Oh.
A heavy silence fills the air.
Oops.
I'm truly sorry. As you can see, I tried my best to recall. Just a popcorn movie. The popcorn is already crunchy and delicious, so there's no need to waste time finding a good movie to watch. Brian returns the business card to its owner's hands. The card is severely worn. The bullet hole and scratches almost entirely obscured its original appearance. I always wanted to thank you in person, Miss Winnifred. Whether you remember or not, your business card saved my life. I just never imagined I'll meet you here like this. She waves her hand dismissively and places the card on the table.
Huh.
So it's you! What a surprise! Clearly, but functionally, presentaries cannot dampen Brian's enthusiasm.
Yes.
Yes, I never imagined that after all these years you would look exactly the same as I remember. Now I'm all the more certain. You must be a vampire, or at least 1/8 of your blood is vampiric. It aligns perfectly with my script. My goal is to lift the veil of mysterious hanging over vampires, to expose those false legends and rumors. He becomes more excited as he speaks, stripping his notebook. Just think about it, Miss Winnifred. Don't you want to finally change the public's misconception about vampires?
At least
we can show the world a more beautiful, more real image. Winnifred shakes her head and reclines on a fashionable Persian sofa. Well, Mr. Bryan, how are you going to do that? With a film.
of course.
A film, of course. I'm planning to make one about vampires. The only thing is that no one's willing to invest in it, and I haven't finished the script yet. But I believe that as long as you're willing to be the leading lady, everything will fall into place. Maybe we could start with a personal documentary. You know, investigating your lineage and family, the untold past of the vampire. That will surely catch the investors' attention. It's the perfect opportunity to tap into a new market. I say your idea has legs, Mr. Bryan.
Oh,
But I'm afraid I'm not interested. It's as if cold water has been splashed on Brian's face.
why?
I don't care about movies. Sitting still for 2 or 3 hours is more like a subtle punishment than a pleasure. Besides, staring at the screen for such a long time robs our eyes of its brightness. That's the kind of damage no amount of cosmetics can save. So what kind of film do you want from us?
Huh.
A talk show like The Night Show would be great. No one needs to go anywhere. We can all just relax on a sofa, chat about fashionable, superficial things, and laugh without a care in the world. We could also adopt a theme that captures the life's little fragments, then piece them back together. Yes, that would be interesting. She stretches languishingly, looking unexpectedly at the cameraman before her. Mr. Danny promised me just that. What was it? A comfortable atmosphere, simple requirements, and no need to lift a finger. Brian sets down his notebook, sighing in resignation. Winnifred nods contentedly. She eyes the wall clock. 3:15. Excellent. We'll get started shortly. The client I have scheduled for this afternoon is due any moment now. We should be able to glean some free, authentic materials. As you wish, ma'am. Brian is that with the camera, and is serious about capturing every shot. He successfully filmed Winnifred's leisurely afternoon, just as he has hoped. Afternoon tea, stroll in the garden, sunbathing. There's no doubt that Winnifred is pleased with them. Knock, knock, knock. This knocking seems rougher than usual.
Hey!
Winnifred! Winnifred! Open up. I know you're in there.
Oops.
Look, friends. It seems we have another ill-mannered customer. She faces the camera, offering a more polite smile than usual. Regardless, the customer always comes first. She steps forward and opens the door. Welcome, Mr. Madison. It's been a long time since we met, hasn't it? What a nostalgic reunion this is. We saw each other just last month, Miss Winnifred. His voice is accented with hints of barely repressed anger. You sold me that memory lamp, saying it could faithfully record all it illuminates. But in actual fact, he flips the switch. The lamp casts a warm yellow light. Yes, just like this. Just imagine, you'll be able to eternally cherish the warmest, most beautiful scene of your entire family under this very light. Just think, no more worrying about maintaining picture frames or power outage. All you need is a little bit of arcane energy, and you can preserve everything, even their voices. Oh, what a joyous scene! Just thinking about it brings a tear to the eyes. This memory lamp is a one-of-a-kind piece. Snag it now for the low price of... He turns off the lamp. Well, it's running smoothly, and the image is clear enough. There doesn't seem to be anything wrong with it, no? It certainly meets the standard of my other goods. Thank you for your testimony, Mr. Madison. That's precisely the issue.
It's ridiculous.
When you were selling me the lamp, it recorded our little test run perfectly. But after I took it home, no matter how many adjustments I made, even after I busted its bulb, the image didn't change one iota. Oh, is there something wrong with that, Mr. Madison? She tilts her head, appearing somewhat puzzled. Just as I advertised, it can faithfully record all it illuminates. Poor little lamp. This is the reward you get for working hard and doing your job to the letter. She runs her finger across the scratches on the lamp's surface and sighs deeply. Weren't you the one who asked for a preview of how the lamp works? That's right. My heart was just as heavy as yours in that moment. What a shame that you couldn't just trust the quality of my product without having to use its power on a demonstration.
Shoot. That's too far.
You sure did. You really capitalist. His fist clenched as his face flushed with anger.
Oops.
Our transaction was entirely above board, as you well know. Besides, getting rough now would only land you in a heap of legal trouble. She points immediately at the camera, documenting the entire affair. Of course, if you so desire, I do offer a buyback service at the 10th of the original price. man storms out, slamming the door behind him. How disappointing. Upon the exit of the guests, the day filming ends as scheduled. That's a wrap.
Oh.
You're looking a little down, Mr. Bryan.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, Miss Winnifred. I was just wondering if the scene would fit in your documentary. It was quite a negative encounter. There's no need to worry about that. I think it possesses a certain comedy quality, don't you think? Don't you? It reminds me of an episode of The Night Show, which you have to watch, by the way. Just be careful you don't bust a gut laughing. By that point, I had to admit that Miss Winnifred wasn't the vampire I imagined. In fact, our brief dreamlike encounter hasn't allowed me to truly understand her. But even then, I clung to my beliefs, hoping in vain to find what I so desperately wanted to be true. I continued to pour my heart into the documentary, the vessel of my vampiric passion. The dog did dream. We had taken in many patients who, after giving up their dreams, are now living quite well. The finished reel are piled up like a mountain. They reflect Bryan's furrowed brow on the surface, his struggles, and embarrassments laid bare on the mountainside.
No.
This one's no good. It just doesn't carry the weight of what I want to express. The symbol is totally missing, and the framing's all wrong. He removes the reel, replacing it with a new one. He watches in hope. This one too. The props are all over the place. Miss Winnifred, you really shouldn't have eaten those grapes. They were meant to balance the shot. Another reel is set aside. He sighs in resignation. This one's even worse. The composure even completely ruins, and the prop you added seems to symbolize some kind of material desire, which totally confused the message of the film. The insinuations are terrible. Winnifred nods at Bryan, offering a polite apology. You're very diligent, Mr. Bryan. I'm sure Mr. Danny would be pleased with all this work. Of course, I'll give you a glowing review for the work you've done. I'm not sure I understand. Once again, you proved that my coins have been well spent. It appears I haven't lost my knack for striking a good deal. It's not just about the money, Miss Winnifred. At least not for me. He stares at Winnifred, who appears indifferent to this declaration. After a moment of hesitation, he cannot help but go on. Miss Winnifred, with all due respect,
Please.
we should reshoot this material over the next few days. I'll prepare more reels and plan a new script for you.
Oh.
I can't lie to you, ma'am. The truth is, the footage that we have now is almost totally unusable. It's monotonous and hollow, and even the extensive editing, it won't meet the standard of the true great documentary. I'll handle any additional costs. You just need to... Winnifred cuts him off. I don't think that will be necessary, Mr. Bryan. I've seen the shot. They're terrific. Bryan tones birds on vexation.
What?
You have to be kidding, right? Look, we watched them again, and I'll explain the fatal... Wait. You got to be kidding, right? Look, we'll watch them again, and I'll explain the major flaws to you. Then you'll see for yourself, I swear. You're an outstanding cinematographic, Mr. Bryan. You don't need to prove that to me anymore.
Why?
Then why won't you agree to my proposal? To be honest, I don't really care about the quality of the documentary. All I need is for it to be made and become a shining new addition to my display case. Don't you care about its artisanal value at all? Absolutely not. But being in vogue, that's what really matters. You have to understand the women of a certain social class are only interested in the new and trends that can change at the drop of a hat. If we don't hurry up and finish shooting this thing, I'll be left in the dust by that prestigious circle chock full of treasures and opportunity. That's what I'm really afraid of. Can you imagine me, a has-been, an outcast of the new age, bankrupt without a penny to my name? I've seen that story play out more times than I care to recall. She shakes her head dramatically, and if the very notion chills her to the core.
I see.
I understand, Miss Winnifred. Let's get on with the shoot. Bryan shakes his head. He lets out a long sigh, but says no more. Time to shoot the small talk segment, Miss Winnifred. I'm not sure I'm the right person for this kind of chat. No, it's fine. We can make do with what we have. Now, let's get started. Just relax and talk about whatever interests you. She leans back, settling into a comfortable position on the sofa.
Okay.
Alright.
May I ask?
Forgive my nosiness, but have you really never believed in the existence of vampires? I've been around, Bryan. Seen a lot of places and met many people, but I never once laid eyes on even half of what you call a vampire. Of course, plenty of people have tried to buy such a secret from me, and believe me, were there any credence for these rumors? I'll be working to profit from them myself. She shakes her head in resignation.
But
how, then, do you explain your appearance? Time seems to have no effect on you whatsoever. If that's not because of some special bloodline, then what else could possibly explain it? Money? Sometimes the answer is far simpler than you think, Mr. Bryan. Money is a potent magic. It grants everyone who possesses it a longer life, a healthier body, and a more radiant appearance, regardless of the era. Naturally, I'm a beneficiary of the largest and shall continue to be so.
okay.
Well, you're not wrong about that.
But
He closes his notebook. I must say, I never imagined your answers to be so pragmatic, yet so profoundly cruel. Winnifred nods, fully understanding his frustration. The truth will never satisfy anyone, but that's the reality of the situation. Trust me, I'm truly sorry for you, Bryan. Bryan's disappointment deepens. He rises to his feet. Miss Winnifred, I'm afraid I have to withdraw my invitation. You're not fit to play the role of the vampire in my film. You're nothing like her, not at all. You're the true vampire of our world. It died in the wool capitalists. Cut and cut. The final shot is complete. Rest assured, madam, the Vine Union Picture will edit the film and send it to you as soon as possible. We won't delay your pursuit for the latest craze for the second longer than necessary. Bryan bows in her direction, departs without looking back. Goodbye. I wish you the best, Mr. Bryan. And so, that was the last time I ever saw Miss Winnifred. I couldn't accept her choices, just as she couldn't stomach my stubbornness. A huge, irresponsible rift stood just slightly between us, and I no longer believed she had anything to do with the fantasy of my childhood. I even started to think that everything I once firmly believed in was laughable, absurd even. After that, I threw myself into a career more concerned with reality, and I tried my best to awaken from the unreachable dream. Hey Theo, how's everything? Hope your day's well. I couldn't really say whether I succeeded in my ideal or in my career. The New England Dream. So this is the work that this is his last work. New England Dream. The work belongs to the production company, to the investors, and to the business plan, but not the author.
Hey!
Extra, extra.
Look at this.
The highly anticipated movie, New England Dream, is about to hit the silver screens. Another masterpiece following its grisly tradition of Nosferatu, Dracula, and the Curse of Frankenstein. Witness the most pure and flawless vampire in film history, guaranteed to make your heart skip a beat, beholds the mystery of the immortal race. May I have a newspaper?
Thank you.
15 cents, thank you, ma'am.
Look!
Today's big news, the movie New England Dream is about to premiere. Critics have been pouring their acclaim on the film. Renowned critic Maxwell praised its intricate details and imaginary and dreamlike plot. Director Brian Flynn has once again created a masterpiece. The chairman of the International Illumination Film Festival lauded its aesthetic framing and composition. He cites a strong Flynn style, which indicates Flynn's active exploration on the vampire subgenre. The eternally youthful image of a female lead is unforgettable. A Hollywood masterpiece with the quintessential European flaw. The preview was a huge success, garnering rave reviews. The newspaper in Brian's hands is crumpled into a ball and thrown to the floor.
That's too far.
This is all wrong. After the preview, I repeatedly emphasized to everyone that
Shoot.
the film actually cannot be released in its current state. It is still riddled with serious flaws and needs further revision. If I can't fix them, my film will never reach perfection and never live up to its idea of everyone has on it being some kind of masterpiece. He paces the office, scratching at his increasingly sparse hair.
But
But months have passed, and I haven't changed a thing. I have to deliver the final cut of the film today. He falls dejected into his chair. What do I do? How could I present such an unfinished, fractured piece of work? A determined look comes across his face as he shakes his head.
no.
No, it would be an insult to vampires, a colossal stain to my directorial career. He stumbles to his desk and grabs the phone. The dial is spinning like a whirligig.
That's right.
I must be prone it for a few more weeks. Just a fortnight will do. I'm sure I can find some inspiration and fix all those problems. Before the call connect, a visitor arrives at the office door.
Hurry up.
Brian, you've been dodging us for months. I know you're in there. Bang! The door flies off its hinges and crashes to the ground.
I'm sorry.
Sorry, Mr. Brian.
Hey.
Hey, what in God's name are you doing? You can't just break into people's property like this. You know why I'm here, Mr. Big Shot Director. How many times have you put off the release of this picture, pal? Do I need to remind you, or have you come up with a new excuse? Brian is momentarily speechless.
Why?
I told you so many times that the preview went well, and all the critics love doing the dream. So what's the problem, buddy? What are you still not satisfied with? There's no way this film will tarnish your reputation in any way. In fact, this will shoot you to superstardom. You'll be huge. The next big sensation on the lips of everyone in Hollywood.
No.
I don't care about any of that. New England's Dream is my lifelong work. It has to be flawless. It's...
Enough!
Enough. Don't you see you're hurting everyone involved? Do you have any ideas how much money we lost to make this happen? The whole crew's livelihood is hanging on this thing. You planning on dragging them down with you? Brian's face turns red, but he still stubbornly clings to his copy of the film in his hands.
I see.
I understand, but New England Dream isn't ready for the big screen. You need to stop promoting it immediately. Lower everyone's expectation and apologize in the press. Don't worry, I'll write an apology letter. I just need a little time to fix the problem with the film.
Shoot!
You totally lost it, haven't you? He waves his hand, signaling the security personnel behind him. Grab the stuff, we're done waiting.
Please?
Come on, hand it over, Mr. Bryan. The struggle is brief. Bryan collapsed to the floor. The audience, the theaters, and the boatload of investors have all been waiting for it. New England's Dream is more than just your baby.
No.
You can't do this. This is my life's work. It's not finished.
Please.
Give it back to me. I promise. I'll make it perfect. Please forgive my dragging feet and hard head. It wasn't until today that I finally mustered up the courage to send you a copy of this film. Regrettably, even after 20 years, I've never been able to perfect the final edit, to find those missing pieces. It torments me endlessly. I hope it doesn't repulse you. Sincerely, Brian Flynn. What's wrong, ma'am? Ever since that reel landed in your lap today, you've been all shades of blue. You even dug up that old newspaper. Bless your heart. It's also attached to these old things. She carefully removes the film from the projector, a film that has traversed a great deal of time and distance to find her. You kept it in fine condition. Thank you. Just doing my job, ma'am. Are you sure you're okay? The woman looks at her in the same way a worried mother looks at her child. It's okay, I'm fine. She runs her fingers along the aged Persian sofa, feeling the subtle texture under her fingertips. So much time has passed. Don't you worry, ma'am. Even though my eyes aren't what they used to be, I can still say that. You look wonderful. The Lord has been kind to you, that's for sure.
Huh.
I need to step out for a moment. The departure in New England.
Oh no!
That's condition. Seems to be getting worse. I'm really worried he might. His sister shushes him. Shh. I think he's fallen asleep. Let's not wake him. It's been so long since you had a good rest. had no idea he had so much on his mind. Even now, he can't stop thinking about his vampire film. That's a good thing, Robin. That's a good thing. The daughter murmurs to herself, tapping her finger on the edge of the bed.
At least.
At least Dad still got something to hang on to. I think that's what's keeping him alive, in spite of his bad eyes and old war wounds. It's by God's grace that he's still here with us.
But
I do wish Dad would fulfill his dream. It's not the sickness that will do him in. It's the regret. The kind that eats away at you. The old man grips on his notebook, remains strong. As if something immensely important is still galling at him. Suddenly, the old man cries out, his body trembling as if it's the throe of a nightmare. That's my final say.
Enough!
Don't send anyone else to try and sweet talk to me anymore. I won't have it. Dad?
No.
No name. Don't put my name on it. It's got nothing to do with Brian Flynn. Desperate and helpless words spill from his quivering lips. I don't give a damn. This is not my movie. I love you, all of you. You went ahead and screened it, and now it's a stain on my name forever.
Shoot!
Darn it. To hell with you investors. The old man grasps for air, seeming to calm down for a moment.
oh dear.
Are you alright? The doctor. We got to get the Dr. David here now. Just hang in there a little longer. Just a little while longer.
Hurry up!
Robin, quick. We need to hurry. I'll go with you. Alright. The children rush out the door. The room returns to its original calm. Brian looks like a baby tucked in a cradle. Footstep approaches, a sound both alien and familiar creaking at the wooden floor. The old man struggles to rise and force open his eyes. He is desperate to see. Is that you? Have you come at last? That beautiful silhouette sits behind him once again. Mr. Bryan, still as frantic as ever, I see.
I'm sorry.
My apologies, Miss Winnifred, that you have to see me in such a state. Everyone's days comes when youth and vigor quietly slips away. We claw at it, but we ultimately helpless to stop it. Be it you or me. She chuckles. I've seen stories about you in many newspapers over the years. Your career has been a successful one.
No.
Those empty calicoes are nothing to boast about. Besides, I didn't even put my name on New England Dream. The investors and I never saw eye to eye. They took everything, left me with nothing but the original copy. The old man strokes his notebook, falling silently for some time. Finally, some cautious words leaves his mouth. Did you get the film I sent you?
Huh.
Of course. It's well made, beautiful visuals, exquisite costumes, and the plot interesting enough. It's a superior vampire film. Your vampire has a long life, yet she still maintains her original purity and enthusiasm. It was very touching.
But
The old man fumbles for words, unable to utter a complete sentence. You want to know what your film was missing, don't you? If you're willing to tell me. Time, Brian. Time. Brian's fingers loosen and the book opens to a blank page. How do you view time, Mr. Brian? Time is neither your friend. Time is neither our friend nor our foe. It simply is. It passes over everything we experience, equally and without mercy. Maybe money and that special byline you believe in can still starve off the erosion of time on our bodies. But how can they resist its impact on our hearts? Your New England Dream glanced into her eternity, but why did you cruelly deprive her of the right to have her soul worn away by time? It's a story so beautiful that it's almost a dream, but it destroys itself in its own beauty. Miss Winnifred, your insight penetrates to the core of my work. Brian closes the notebook. He wrinkles it out as resignation comes over him. You always saw straight through me, didn't you? I'm not the vampire you hoped for. I'm just an ordinary person, a person bearing a curse. Of course you are. Knowing this now clear as day. I'll feel all the more regretful. His face flushed red as if struggling against something formidable.
Yes.
Time will change us, reshape us beyond recognition. This is a painful, obvious, and dismaying fact.
So,
It's precisely because of that I searched so hard for a true vampire. I was trying to convince myself that there is a treasure in this world that's eternal. Something untouched by time, true's hands. It was entirely out of my own selfish that I did so. It was this obsession that left my film forever incomplete. Brian clings to the notebook without stubborn resolve. But it's almost impossible for me to let go of this selfishness. I've been wrestling with myself for over 20 years, even until now.
Huh.
It must have been a long and brutal war.
that's right.
You couldn't be more right. It's claimed that twilight years of my life left me bedridden, sightless, and battling illness, yet I couldn't change a thing. A gentle sea breeze whispers by. Mr. Brian, there's something more important that you're overlooking. The breeze gently caressed Brian's stiff limbs. Don't tell me it's like a dream. It's still a dream. It would be funny if it was like a dream from his just childhood, and then he like lived his future, but then he returns to the past. Well, let's see what happens. Shh. This is you forever. Alright. A memorial page that is far from being a proper memorial. When does aging catch up with us? Is it when we can no longer leap 2 steps at a time up the stairs? Or when the past is quietly forgotten and the number of white bottles in the cabinet keeps growing? Or is it when time finally erodes the promise of our childhood dreams, and we are forced to leave them behind? Miss Winnifred, don't you think that my stubbornness is meaningless? Not in the least, Mr. Brian. Because you found something that isn't eroded by time, haven't you? To this day, time hasn't changed your ideal. You still hold them tightly, unwilling to let go. I admire your conviction. The old man perks up as if just been given a dose of adrenaline. I suppose I achieved the ultimate victory soon. Then, how wonderful, Miss Winnifred. Remembering something, he strains to lift his head again.
So,
Then, will you still accept a copy of my film? A soft sigh falls beyond his ears. I'm sorry, I can't accept it.
yes.
Yes, I understand. It's not good enough. It's much too insignificant among your exquisite and unique collection. No, Mr. Brian. It's because it's too precious for me to endure its eventual loss. How long will this roll of film last? 30? 50 years? Maybe a little longer? It's cruel to make someone so old see something so precious fade away. She has to watch it as it's worn by time, witnessing its shape warp and cure, just as she has countless times before. Brian smiles helplessly.
That's right.
Yes, you're right. Now I can finally understand what you're saying. Besides, I can't run away in a huff like I did when I was young anymore.
Huh.
I have a gift for you, too. Please don't, Miss Winnifred. I'm so old now. I can't repay you with anything of value. Are you trying to return that same pain to me? Winnifred doesn't answer. Instead, she stands up and slowly approaches the bed. The cool sea breeze seems to draw nearer. A few drops of warm liquid falls on his face, like soft rain, or like a voice that has long been absent. Mr. O'Brien, I remember those eyes from long ago. Green, timid, puerile, but also filled with immense courage and passion. I can see! Warmth flushes through every inch of his body like an after finally returning to a familiar track. The strength gradually returns to his body. He breathes deeply, his lungs filling with fresh air. His vision is cleared, and the hand before him, still youthful and escaped by bullet marks, clasps together in disbelief. The sound of the tide becomes clearer in his ear. It is the earnest echo of that time, more than 60 years ago. Are they all alive? The tables, chairs, and books swim in the boundless blue sea, technically dancing the same dance he saw all those years ago.
Oh,
I remember this dance. He danced so well, so joyfully, that it made me forget all my pain. His memories awaken.
yes.
Yes, this is it. This is my house for my dreams. I've returned. Miss Winnifred, was that you? Have you given me this dream? Mr. Bryan, what a pleasure it is to see you again. She reaches out her hand, as if greeting an old friend from after many years.
It's true.
It's really you.
So,
It's always been you, hasn't it? He reaches out a trembling hand, as if trying to touch the dream from his childhood. Yes, it's me, my friend. Time flows forward. The water rises, then silently falls back into its origin.
Hurry up!
Mr. David, please hurry. Dad's just in there. They open the door. Dad! The room has returned to its original state, distinguished from when they left. The old man on the bed no longer stirs. His mouth is curved into a slight smile, as though he has drifted away in a sweet, peaceful dream. The notebook lies on his chest. No longer clutched in his hands, it has fallen open like a silent tombstone. A new page is presented, one bearing elegant writing in still wet ink. Thus, he lived a life fulfilled. He never owed anything to anyone, be it colleagues, lovers, children, or friends. And not for a single moment did he ever abandon his ideal. In memories of the brave old friend who suddenly held to himself amidst the raging badness of time. That's Eternity's story. I guess I still have to do this thing still too.